What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about investments. We're talking about real estate, and ultimately we're talking about where you should be putting your money as you make it along in your Amazon business. So today's guest, I'm joined here by Nika Farb. Nika, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Super sunny out in Toronto right now. It's a gorgeous day and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you. That's fantastic. It's like one of the few nice days we've had here in Edmonton as well. So I'm pretty grateful. Got a little walk in today. So that was good. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me a little bit about your background, your story, and kind of take us through what you're all about.
My name is Nika Farb. I'm a TEDx speaker. I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own podcast. It's called The Miss Show. And ultimately, I teach women how to grow their money, how to start businesses, and how to take more risks. So I'm really passionate about investing. But the way that I got into investing is actually through starting businesses, making money, and then not knowing what I was going to do with that profit. So a little bit about my background. I've been an entrepreneur since 2016. One of my first businesses was an Amazon FBA store, which is a complete failure. I spent about $5,000 on inventory and I invested into a self-tanning kit. So I put a bunch of different products together. It was fulfilled by Amazon FBA business and it completely failed, mainly because there's a lot of large competitors in the same space and I wasn't really differentiating and providing a lot of value. So that was my first kind of dip into entrepreneurship. And then it was kind of a funny story, but I met my business partner in the elevator. So I was really excited about, having another young person live in my building. I lived in a condo at the time, and I walk into the elevator and just became really good friends with this person. And we ended up starting an FBA business together with my fiance. So there's three of us, and it was quite successful. So we had
Sorry,
a
I
fitness
gotta
brand.
cut you off. Did you give him the elevator pitch in the
No,
elevator?
no. So he was wearing headphones, didn't want to talk to me at all. It was kind of like hilarious. And I was just really excited that there was another young person. And I think I was making fun of him because he was wearing shorts and it was like negative 18 Celsius outside.
Lovely. Classic.
Yeah. So no elevator pitch, although that would have been hilarious. But yeah, we ended up becoming good friends. And then now we do a lot of different entrepreneurial things together.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about that second FBA business, if you could.
Yeah. So the second FBA business was the fitness space. It was an agility kit. So it had a whole different group of products. It had a parachute for resistance training. It had resistance bands, an ab glider, a ladder. And what was the key differentiating factor for this brand was I built an ebook. It was 70 pages and it had drills on how to actually use all the different products. And it was proprietary. Like it was no other brand had done this before. And what really stood out for people that were buying the product is they had all the drills there, so they didn't have to come up with different ways to use the product. So we ended up having a lot of coaches buy the product in bulk, like to train their teams. So we had like hockey teams, football teams, even tennis coaches buy the kits, and that was where we saw a lot of success.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's actually really cool because I'm reading a book right now. The book is called Retention Point, and it's all about memberships. And actually, one of the case studies they use is Fun Fit Fab. I think that's how it goes.
Mm,
Fab Fit Fun.
yeah, I've been a
And
consumer.
yeah, cool. Yeah. My wife's bought a couple of them before as well. And one differentiator, one thing that they did was insert a lot of material and content into their boxes on how to use the different items and how things were. So for you to take that and turn that into your own brand, I think that's even more powerful. So big kudos to you. That sounds fantastic.
Do appreciate it.
Yeah. Are
So
you guys still operating that? Is that something you did through COVID?
no, so we started that actually before COVID. And then we pivoted into a different venture. And I guess that's the thing with entrepreneurship. Like there's so many different things to explore and you've got so many ideas. So once you build something up into, you get it to a certain point, there's only so much more that you can scale it. And then, we moved on and now we do all kinds of different things. But now I run the podcast. That's my kind of baby that I'm growing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a fantastic segue because I definitely wanted to touch on your podcast and what you're doing on social media in general. So why don't you tell us about the podcast, the different topics, what you like to do, and what your goal with that is.
Teaching people how to invest. I'm financial advisor, so I don't tell people what to invest in, but I make sure that they have the strategies and the toolkit to actually go out and implement some of these things in their own portfolio. So I talk a lot about dividend stock investing. I'm not a trader. I like to invest for the long term. And that's actually what Warren Buffett does. So the reason why Warren Buffett is so successful is not that he has like above average returns, although, with Berkshire Hathaway, it definitely does have great returns, but his core philosophy is to take advantage of compound interest, which is like the eighth wonder of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Another thing that I really loved about your investing content, we talked about this a little bit before we hopped on together, but the fact that you make a lot of content for everyone, right? So not just people who are in the US and are involved in, their investment vehicles they have down there, but you also make content for Canadians as well. And so here on my channel, me being Canadian, we have a lot of Canadian residing people that are obviously here for business content, but ultimately are Canadians at the end of the day. So I really love the fact that you break things down in a way that's easily palatable, but also is applicable to other different, like other audiences outside of the US. So I really enjoyed that. And, absolutely, I'm going to continue to follow along in your podcast. I look forward to that. So yeah, is there anything else that you maybe wanted to mention, some different ventures that you're working on, anything else exciting to mention in Nika's world?
Yeah, so I just recorded a TED Talk, which was like a huge thing that I was working towards and like a big goal of mine before. So that's going to be coming out on the TEDx channel, or the TED channel, which is 33 million subscribers in a month or so. And I'm really pumped about that. But in terms of like other things that I'm working on, I'm launching a new business in the supplement space. So I have 2 different brands that are coming out. They're unique proprietary supplement blends, and I'm working with a nutritionist on actually developing them. So one is helping women balance their hormones, and not something that may suit like your whole audience, right? Depending on what their background is. But it helps women rebalance their hormones after coming off birth control. And another one is a focus blend, and they all have medicinal mushrooms. So not magic mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms that help people's brain function and cognitive function. And one thing that happens to me all the time is like I have an espresso in the morning and I intermittent fast usually, and then I get really anxious and jittery. And if you take lion's mane and cordyceps, there are medicinal mushroom compounds that can actually help maintain your energy levels. So that's a new line. It's called Get Synced. That's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks. So I'm really pumped about that. But otherwise, the big thing that I'm working on is trying to build my real estate portfolio. And this is something we touched on a little bit earlier, Mike. Like, how do you funnel your profits into a way that's sustainable and able to build generational wealth? And I really, truly believe that that's real estate, because land is scarce. It's hard to get a hold of, especially now. So if you can get your way in, if you can buy property, you're using leverage and you're taking on debt in a very, if you're doing it properly, you can use that leverage to really build your net worth properly, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's extremely important. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because we were also talking about that before, is like, all right, so my channel, we talk about how to build business, how to, get profits rolling, how to potentially get you out of your traditional 9-to-5 job and start a business, like Amazon wholesale. And then it's like, and I'm even a victim of this. It's like, what do you do with those profits? What do you do once you're making money, and how do you secure that wealth so that it's locked away and it's compounding and it's, out of the business at the end of the day? And then ultimately, end goal is creating that generational wealth. So thank you for sharing some of those insights. That's been fantastic. I think that people are going to like this. I think they're going to want to hear more. And so why don't you just reiterate for everybody where they can find you, your socials? Feel free to plug away and let people know where to go to find you.
At Miss Independent is my Instagram handle. TikTok is at Nika Farb. And then the name is the Miss Independent podcast. And my YouTube channel is Miss Independent as well, but I'm sure you'll link it all in the description.
Yeah, absolutely. So for anyone watching, just head on down to the description. I'm going to have all of those links locked and loaded. So wherever you guys like to consume content the most, she likely has a very active channel that you can go and check out. So again, thank you so much, Nika. Thanks for coming on. I don't do a whole lot of other interviews with entrepreneurs, so this was refreshing and I had a fantastic time. I look forward to potentially doing some more of this in the future. So thanks again, and have a good day, everybody.
Thanks for having me, Mike.